Hey everyone, welcome back to an episode of Buzzing About Romance. I'm Becky, and joining me for this episode is Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Becky.
And Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Becky.
And Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
How is everyone? Are we here?
We're alive.
I'm melting. I'm melting in Ohio. The temperature is not kind. I was talking to one of Mike's cousins in Australia, and she's like, it's 0 degrees, because they're Celsius. I'm like, give it to me. Just give it to me. I would, I'd be perfectly okay with that. She's talking about having to get put on an extra sweater, and I'm like, yes, please. I would like an extra sweater instead of how many clothes can I take off?
It's the humidity is going to kill us this week.
Yeah. You can the air is so heavy. Like you can feel it.
We are getting in thunderstorms currently. We're under a thunderstorm watch with hail. So
fun. That's a good time.
Yeah, because it was I don't know, felt like Florida here. It was so swampy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. I sat on the couch pretty much all day and read. I did nothing of any value or importance today because it's too hot. It's just too hot to do anything.
It is.
Okay, so does anyone have anything we need to catch up on before we get into what we're talking about tonight? I really took Threads off my phone, and I have to tell you guys, I'm a better human for it.
Yeah, I believe it, because it is something every day.
It's a dumpster fire. I took it off my phone, and then somehow it ended up back on there, but I'm like, I need to not be on Threads. It's toxic.
Yeah. I curated Superman and Fantastic Four content, so that's mostly what I'm getting right now. So I'll go on there every once in a while and check out a couple of people who might be talking about the latest drama, but I try to avoid it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know that there's still a little bit of romance con stuff still happening. I did see today, I was, you know how on Instagram, the stuff will pop up into your feed.
Yeah.
There was one today that I saw someone talking about craft. It was the only way I know how to address it is a continuing ed for authors, a craft honing that was attached to a con. And the particular person that was talking about it was talking about how they were rejected from that con. They were not invited to be signing. They were said, no, thank you. But then they got this kind of cold email from the organizer of the con that says, hey, if you're interested in updating your craft or, figuring out how to make your manuscripts better, we have this seminar happening the day before, and it is X amount of dollars. And this is a con that's in a really pricey location. And this is the author that was complaining about it is what I would consider mid-list, mid-catalog author. They do this full-time as their job. They make a living from it. And it felt really MLM predatory.
Yeah, hey, we have your email address.
Right. And I guess it went out to attendees, but the wording was different. Hey, if you've ever thought about being an author, you might consider taking. And I am all for continuing ed, right? Any profession, teachers, engineers, all of them, we all have opportunities for continuing education credits. Some of them are required for our licensing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, as what I do, I work for myself, but I am looking into a certificate to become certified in the Chicago manual style of editing because all of my background is in AP. And I have figured out that my hatred of the Oxford comma is because AP hates the Oxford comma. It's ditch it. Get rid of it. You don't need it.
Oh, is that why I hate it?
Yes.
I guess I've done everything in AP.
Because
that
AP
explains a lot.
each style. So in styling in AP, it was based on space on paper, column inches,
Yep.
and you took out any extra marks that could move the column too long, and you would get then cut. Like they would just cut words, or your column wouldn't make it into the paper. So that's AP styling. You just don't overuse commas. That's why I use semicolons and stuff. Anyway, because it's a semicolon is one space versus a period is two spaces in typeset.
Yep.
So, so like I'm looking at taking a Chicago Manual Style certification. So I'm all for continuing ed and certificates and all of that, but don't make it feel like it is MLM and predatory. And I saw a screenshot of the email and it did feel. Now, that author, go ahead, Heather.
It feels a lot like what they did in Readers Take Denver, and how that was just really gross with like the rising star authors and like all that nasty crap that they did. It just screams that, and it's not respectful of people who have been in the industry a long time.
Right. Well, and okay, so this is where the author that was complaining about it went off track a little bit. She didn't recognize any of the presenters that were presenting the craft. And I'll be very honest, I knew one of the three authors that was presenting for this writing craft. And she's a very good author, but she is not New York Times. She is not USA Today. She is not front of catalog author. It's not like it was going to be a class taught by Kennedy Ryan or Katie Robert.
Well, see, that's funny because I saw something else on Threads today that was a similar thing, but the class it had Kennedy Ryan, it had Natalie Kenya, it had a ton of BIPOC authors in it, and so that was like a different one.
No, it's the same one.
Is it the same one?
The one that was sent to readers is different than the one that was sent to authors. The one sent to authors only had Natalie's name, and it had two other names with hers, and they were not names I recognized.
Okay, I wonder if multiple authors were complaining because I saw I saw an actual author's picture, and it had Kennedy Ryan's name on it. Yeah. So I was like,
Kennedy Ryan would be fine, but Natalie Kenya is not USA Today, and she might be USA Today, but she's not New York Times. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
If you're going to pay for a $500 continuing ed credit, you would hope that it would be the top tier presenting.
Yeah.
Especially for the price they were asking.
Well, that was just for the class. That wasn't hotel accommodations. That wasn't a ticket into the con. That was simply
I want to know how much it was.
$500.
How much?
$500. The table fee for the signing was $300. This craft class was $500.
Wow.
So now last year I know that they did something like this, and Becca Sims, who runs Hello Lovely and Fairy Plot Mother, she and Anna Hong did the presentation, and Lauren Asher was a part of it. And that made sense, right? Because Becca is behind a lot of New York Times best-selling authors as their editor. It makes sense. But, I'm not going to charge $500 to give a continuing ed class. I don't have I can say I know everything, but I don't have the sales to back it up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll have to go look because I was like, maybe I saw the reader one or something.
You might have seen the reader one. The one I saw, the only name I recognized on it was Natalie's. And I was like,
okay.
I love Natalie. I would pay money to visit with Natalie, but.
Do they at least get a meal?
I don't know. Probably not at that hotel. That hotel is pricey. Anyway, that's the only thing I saw on it was because it was on my Instagram.
Yeah, I did see that today, so it was making the rounds.
And then, of course, people are like, you're just being a racist because you didn't want to take the class. And I don't think that's fair. Not when it's a predatory email.
That everyone just has that kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that a lot, though. There was something earlier this week. Somebody was like, I really want to break into the copy editing. And my first thought is, don't do it. You are not going to make a living doing it. Don't. It's not. It's a lot of hustle.
I can't say anything.
Right?
I've got a library degree the worst time ever.
Right.
I was reading Publishers Weekly at work.
Yeah.
And there was an article that literally said, like, this is the worst time to be a librarian. And I'm like,
yeah.
Cool.
You're like, that checks out.
Yeah.
I'm living that dream. Thanks.
Yeah. 100%.
So none of this is what we're talking about today, although it kind of is a little bit, but not really.
Kind of.
So welcome back to this Buzzing About Romance episode, the podcast where we celebrate all things swoony, steamy, and full of feels. Today we're switching things up with a casual check-in episode. We're pulling back the curtain a bit to talk about how we got into the bookish world. See, this is where we talk about don't do it. From picking up our first romance novel to launching a bookstagram and eventually hitting record on this podcast. We're also diving into our love of the romance community, dishing out a few hot takes because, when do we not?
Obviously.
And we're going to chat up about where we are with our current reads. So grab a drink and let's catch up. So I've talked a million times, I feel like, about my origin story. And this was actually a question that came out of our Ask Us Anything 5th year episode. People were like, how did you get here? I'd really like your origin story. And I feel like we're supervillains when you ask for an origin story. Like, we're not supervillains. I mean, we guess we could be. But I mean, I've talked about how I got here. Like, I wanted to do a podcast at the height of like Serial and all of those follow-up podcasts where they reviewed podcasts, because I was going to talk about the Bridgerton series, which I was talking to somebody this week and I was like, I never did finish season 2 or watch season 3.
Oh, yeah.
No, I got mad and I walked away. But
I watched all of them multiple times.
2010, that was my goal when it was announced. So just a little foreshadowing. Next week, Amanda and I are going to talk about film and TV rights a little bit and why it does sometimes take 10 years.
Yes.
So just because a show has been bought does not mean you're going to see it within the scope of your timing. But that's next week. But so, and then COVID happened and Mike was home and I was home and kids were healthy and we didn't have anywhere to go. And he's like, if you're ever going to do it now. And I did it. And of course we've evolved. It's changed. It's not been the same. But we'll start with Heather because Heather, you guys, was my very first Bookstagram friend in Bookstagram land. I had an editor at the time that I worked for in 2019. She said, I can't believe you read all this and you don't have a blog. I can't believe you read all of this and you're not on Instagram with your books. And I'm like, who's on freaking Instagram with their books? This is dumb. Like, I had no clue. So I started it in October of 2019. The blog started in January of 2020, and I met Heather.
Mm-hmm.
So Heather, what made you start Bookstagram?
So I have always been like a big reader, and I was like following books or whatever, and I realized you can like follow hashtags on Instagram, and I saw these people like had their own like accounts for books, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I decided in December of 2019 to do it. I started an Instagram and I didn't say anything to like literally anybody. I just did it. And I just started talking about books and it felt really awkward at first. And I think sometimes it still does feel awkward,
So awkward.
And then I met Becky and then we were doing book club and I met Demi, and now Demi and I like hang out and do book stuff all the time. And I don't know. Like,
yeah. I remember when we first started Bookstagram, I messaged you, I'm like, how do you share to your stories? And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know either. Like,
I'm too old for this. Like, what am I doing? And so then we were like Googling it back and forth, and then we were trying to explain it to each other about how to do it. And yeah, it was kind of weird, but
it was so funny. It was so funny. I still laugh about that because I'm like, that's when I feel like my mom and her two-handed remote usage. Like, that's my two-handed remote story. I didn't know how to share a story on Instagram. You know what I'm talking about with the parents, right? And the two hands on the remote. Anyway, that's when you know you're old, when you need two hands to use the remote.
Or you're like this, holding it out.
Let's not talk about that.
We watched Mobland BTW on Paramount.
So good.
Whatever.
So
Mobland is so good, you guys. You have to watch it. But I felt so old because we had to watch it with subtitles because I couldn't understand them.
I also have to turn the brightness way up because it's really dark. And Mike keeps saying, we need a new TV. And I'm like, I know. Let's just turn the brightness on.
That'll fix it.
Right? So, and then Jenny, how'd you end up here?
I heard an episode of, because I remember when I was driving in the first episode, I was like taking my kids to counseling, and I was like, hey, these are my kind of people. So then while they were in counseling, I'm like, checking you guys out. And then I think I said this, but Ask Me Anything. I slid into Becky's DMs, realized I used to live where Becky lives, and we had similar stories of being a mom, and
yeah. And then I had to clarify, I've said this before, that I wasn't like Finley.
Yeah.
Because
and I needed that reassurance too.
Rachel did too. Well, the first time I ever met Rachel, she was like, so you grew up in Finley? She's like, have you always been Finley? And I'm like, I'm not Finley. Like I am, I grew up here, but I'm not. I'm not like that.
That must be an Ohio thing because all of us are like, okay.
No,
it's a Finley thing.
It's a Finley thing. It's the demographic of where I live is very corporate, white collar America. It's very snotty, but then we're surrounded by rural cornfields, and there is a snobbery, but also conservatism that comes out of here because one of our main employers is Marathon Petroleum Oil, so it's like Texas but Northwest Ohio.
Gotcha.
So, and then Amanda, how did you end up here?
Oh, well, I mean, I think I'm pretty sure I've told this story a few times before, but I've always been a reader and then kind of found authors through Facebook and then Instagram. And then I ended up finding the podcast through Susan Stoker. She was talking about it in her Facebook group. So I joined, I listened to that book club, and then I started listening, and then Lee and I were reading a lot of the same books. So we were messaging back and forth, and then Becky and I were messaging back and forth when I was taking a lot of the book recs, and we were talking about them, and then just kind of evolved from there.
And then I thought, that lady's a sucker, and she wants to hang out with me all the time. So come on over. It's so funny because I think it was last year, I was sitting and chatting with Carrie, who's one of our longtime community members and listeners, and her husband's friends are always like, I never see Carrie with her friends. And Paul's like, no, she's got a lot of them, let me tell you. And I always think about that because I'll say to Mike, I said, gosh, I never see my friends. We're all, we don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. And he's like, every Sunday night, every day during the work day. You're never not on your phone talking to your friends. And he's right. It's just different, right? It's just.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of talk a little bit about our romance reader origin. I think I've asked all of you this before, but we'll just start. Do you remember the book that made you fall in love with romance, or maybe the contemporary book that made you fall in romance, or the book that made you fall in love with a specific subgenre? Amanda, do you remember that book that kind of was the... I have red Kool-Aid on my fingers, you guys. I promise it is not blood. It is red Kool-Aid. It's distracting me.
I didn't even notice until you said it.
I'm like, why are my nails so red? I keep seeing it. Anyway, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no, I don't remember. Like, so there were of course like the categories and the Harlequins that I used to read, and I don't remember any of those specifically, but I do remember when I read like The Sherbrooke Bride by Catherine Coulter. Like that was really kind of like, so I was into historical for a minute, and then she started writing romantic suspense, and from her I found like Nora Roberts, and then I got into like the McGregors, and then everything else that she's ever written all the time. So you know, and those were always like my big reread books, but those are probably the two authors that I remember the most.
Do you know that when you and we've bonded over the Bridal Quartet series by Nora Roberts, and I never knew that the edges of those books had a very specific name until I was like, I have 3 of the 4, but they have the like wavy edges, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And so then I went looking because I'm like, wavy edges is not, it's deckled. Deckled edges is, so I was trying to talk Carrie and Ryan. Apparently there are no printers in the U.S. that do mass amounts that you can deckle edges. You have to really go to foreign press.
Yeah, that's probably difficult.
Yeah, but I was trying to convince Carrie Ann to do it. She's like, if I could do it, you know I would. I'm like, you could send me the books and give me a paper cutter and I could see what I could do. You know, like a choppy paper cut. Anyway.
Yeah.
What about you, Heather? Do you remember the book, or what book made you fall in love with the subgenre?
I always read like women's fiction. So I was doing like lots of Kristen Hanna, Emily Giffin, and then obviously like 50 Shades of Grey came out, and those were like meh. But then I got into Sylvia Day's like Crossfire series, and I was like, this is my jam. And then I read like Kristen Callahan's football series. And then I was like, I mean, if there's football romance, there has to be hockey, right? So then I found Kelly Jamieson and Sawyer Bennett and Natasha Madison. And then sort of like that was just...
It's where it is.
Right? Like,
I'll never forget when I found Sawyer Bennett in the library, because I was library for a very long time. I couldn't afford to buy books, and I was reading on my phone. And because I was a Nook girl. What the fuck, Becky? Anyway.
I had a Sony Reader first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I remember finding those on the library, and those holds could not come in fast enough. And I caught up to the point where I was reading Cold Fury as they were coming out, those last 3 or 4, and then she went to Arizona, and like they could not come fast enough, those books.
Well, and all 3 of them, when I initially found them, were wide, and then I got somebody suggested somewhere in like some Facebook group or something like Mafia, and I was like, wait a second, there's Mafia too. And so then I just binged, and then obviously when the pandemic happened, like nobody was going anywhere, we weren't doing anything, and so I just like read.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
We moved in January of 2019, and audiobooks were what saved me through that whole move. I had never really done audiobooks until then. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I could still read a book while I pack my child's piles. Then yes, let's go. Just so you know, when that child packed, she packed trash, like papers, because she wasn't sure she felt comfortable to throw them away.
Oh my God. I've always done audio, like books on tape or whatever, or like CD. So I used to check them out from the library and then listen to them in the car, and then I'd bring them in and then put them in my computer in my classroom, and or I'm like sitting there, right? And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I have to get to work, and I'm listening to a book.
My mother will not put her audiobooks on her phone from the library. She makes me go and find old MP3 players for her because they never expire on the MP3 player.
Oh,
so
nice.
She says she deletes them as soon as she listens to them, but sometimes the holds come in out of order. I mean, I totally inherited my bookish behaviors.
You can load them onto MP3 players?
Yeah, you can
find an MP3 player.
Yeah, find an MP3 player. Let me tell you, the last time was not easy. Heather.
It'd probably be easier to find an old phone.
Probably. And just turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
My library card is expired, and I have to drive across the river over to Hennepin County and renew it. And so, you know, what else am I doing with my life that I can't go over to Hennepin County? I don't know.
Get the library cards.
Right.
What about you, Jenny? Do you remember the book that made you fall in love with the genre, or what subgenre really was like, I feel seen, these are my books?
Yeah, I just took Lila, I have 3 boys and 1 daughter. I took her to the library book sale. And Sharon Creech, she writes young adult books, but when I was about my daughter's age, so like 10 or 11, I read her books, and they are like very light romance, but I remember being like, hey, these books have feeling. We're not just like solving a problem by the end of the book. And then so I actually was able to get a couple of those for her at the sale, and I was super excited about it. I don't know if she is, but
yeah. Well, and I read my first romance at 12. It was Jude Devereux's The Conquest.
Yeah, it's not quite that
no.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years later that I realized the implications of that book. And you wonder if publishers, when they bought those books, really thought about that. Because she was playing the role, she was dressing as a boy, a young boy, like a page, and he was the knight, and he was attracted to her in her boyish clothes. And you just have to wonder, like, did they...
Yeah, man, you could really dissect that now.
Like, I don't know that you could publish that right now. I mean, she was an adult. I mean, I think she was 17 or 18 in that book, which it was medieval. But still,
I read one recently. There was a fantasy one I read recently that had that. So
really?
it's not out of pocket these days.
I was just like, wow, there's a lot to unpack there. Jen Ellen in the comments said, Whitney My Love by Judith McNaught and Shauna by Kathleen Woodwis were her gateways. I love Judith McNaught. Did I tell you? Oh my gosh. So one of my new clients that I have picked up, she has signed Judith McNaught first editions in her collection. Like, and she has the original Whitney My Love, like, hardback that was the British publication, the UK Commonwealth. And I'm like, Tracy, if you ever feel the need to sell those, just right here. Like, I would sell.
How much would those even go for, you think?
You know, it's interesting. I say this as I sold a Elsie Silver for, stupid money. I don't know that older books would sell as much as you think that they would. I think it has to be something pretty powerful. I bet if we went over to eBay, I bet it's $200.
That's it? I thought it would be more.
Yeah, it's like everything like that. You got to find the right person, right?
Right. Yeah. Somebody who desperately wants it. Somebody that, but I also think some of those, so, if we look at what's currently happening in romance and the way that there does seem to be like a lot of consumership of paperbacks, they don't want hardbacks. They want paperbacks. I saw a girl on TikTok a couple weeks ago, like angry livid that the book she was so excited waiting for was coming in hardback first. And she didn't understand why she couldn't just have a paperback. And I'm like, you don't understand, that author obviously delivered because her publisher said, hey, you are worthy of a hardback.
Yeah. I mean,
like, that's a big deal. But a lot of the current newer to the genre, I hate to say it because I feel like I sound like a boomer going after the millennials, but the Gen Zers they haven't had to read outside of technology.
Yeah.
A Gen Z romance reader doesn't know what it's like to not have an indie market, like a robust indie market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, all of us on the show, we all lived through the trad market and the booming of the indie market to this robust market. They do not feel my pain of waiting 18 months for a mass market because I can't afford the hardback.
Mine was like making the people at the bookstore mad because I would call like at the beginning of the month, hey, do you have this book yet? No. Do you have this book yet? No.
Or 26 weeks on the hold list to get, you know, the hardback. And then you think it hurts to have a Kindle hit your face, people? You have not survived until you have taken a Julie Garwood hardback to your face, or a Nora Roberts. The Search. The first time I read The Search, that was hardback. Nora Roberts.
Mercy with me, the Julie Garwood.
Yeah. It's a beefy book.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't think anybody has been in Vegas and had like everything melt. Like the book just like came apart that I was reading. It was so freaking out.
Yeah.
But there's a book everyone's talking about, and I don't know if it's romance or whatever, but The Compound. Have you seen this?
No.
So it's like Love Island. Like they're in this like reality show, but it's like the world is crumbling outside of the reality show. I've seen it all over. And I don't know if it's romance, but it looks pretty interesting. Only available in hardback.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of books that are still being released as hardback only. I mean, honestly, Fourth Wing, it was hardback. Mm-hmm. It was hardback first. Took 6 months for the paperback to come out. Same thing with the Devney Perry Shields of Sparrow, or whatever its name is. Hardback first. It's still not available in paperback.
They did do the paperback arcs with those, though. And I think they did that with Fourth Wing. But I mean, I get it. I didn't buy a ton of hardbacks because I don't like dust jackets. Like, I'm not a fan.
You say that, but I know that you are currently shopping dust jackets by Olivia Dade.
I am, and that's just because they're beautiful. But like a regular just like, you know, like a Nora Roberts book or like a Judy Garwood, like those covers weren't like anything that I was just like dying to have, and dust jackets annoy me. So a lot of times I would just take them off and they would end up wherever they ended up. But
Bonnie is on team anti-dust jacket.
Yeah.
She says that, but we were all drooling over the Olivia Dade dust jackets.
Yes, and it's one thing if it's a special edition. I'm not gonna lie, if it's a special edition, that's different. But if it's just a regular trad pub book and you open it up and it just looks like the normal, like, you know, nothing fancy on the actual hardcover, like I'm not that interested in it.
So it becomes my bookmark.
I remember the very first time I got a hardback, like I bought with my own money, had the hardback. And previous to that, all of my hardbacks had come from the library, right? And so they have this special archive library tape that holds it in place, right?
Yeah.
And I remember asking my mom, I'm like, hey, where's your library tape so I can fix my book? And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, you know, the special tape that holds the book jacket on. And she's like, that's at the library. So then I went to use like masking tape, and they do not work. They do not work. There's something magical about the library tape. They do not work. So
I just take the dust jackets off. But so our youngest is a really big like fantasy reader. And so most of those books are hardcover, and he just like rips them off. He like, all of his books are super well loved. And then I bought him that Aragon book on the book outlet, and they packed it and ripped the dust cover. And he was like, what? He's like, can you return this? Like, this is unacceptable. I was like, dude, it was like $9. So no.
And it might have been the one that was free even.
I'm like, oh my God. But he was like, seriously, Mom? And I was like, it might not have damaged in shipping. That might be why it was at the book outlet. That's because it was damaged. To him. And I'm like, you're going to rip it anyway. Like, you're going to rip it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
And like he then mixes, so this is totally a book like pet peeve. He like some of them are available in hardcover and some of them are paperback. And so like his series don't all match.
Oh, does that bother you?
Like...
Look at Amanda's face. She's like, that's a no-go.
Nope.
I'm just curious, like, how Heather is handling. Do you just like shut the door and not look at those shelves?
Well, he like redesigned all of his shelves and like he fixed them the way he likes them and
yeah,
whatever. And it doesn't bother him. So if it doesn't bother him, I shouldn't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Should not care.
Whatever.
But you do care, don't you?
As long as you have to look
just,
at it.
It just itches under your skin a little.
No. Whatever. He's reading. I don't care, right?
Yeah, there you go. That's all that matters.
The paperbacks, hardbacks, books, period, in this house are out of control. Like, the piles now have piles. And then today I was on Instagram and I saw Kylie Kent bought herself a page printer, a high-end laser page edge printer, like, for her shop. And when I tell you these edges were like, I'm like, God, amazing. Damn it. Yes. Yes. Anyway, and I love Kylie Kent.
Links to sprayed edges today.
Who was?
We were at this, like, there was a book fair here in Minnesota. It was at a winery and it was gorgeous, but it was like 100 degrees and like whatever. But there was a company that does sprayed edges and they are gorgeous. So Liam's series, the Murtagh series or whatever, they have Percy Jackson. They have all, like, the edges are gorgeous. So I will have to share their story, but I will send all y'all links.
You know, I have a problem. It's fine.
It's called Bibliopolis.
Okay.
Books.
They're pretty.
So let's talk about community, because that was one of the things which I had said a lot in my own life to myself, probably to Mike, but, you know, he got annoyed when I would talk books sometimes because I don't shut up about stuff, was, you know, I just didn't know any romance readers in real life. And that's something we hear often is like, I love this genre, but I never know anyone that reads it. Like, it's so odd to find another romance reader in the wild, which is why I think when we do spot someone in the wild, like, we're all feral, right? Well, some of us. Amanda runs away. But, like, you're in the Walmart aisle and you see someone holding a book. Like, okay, I'm not going to lie. I saw someone holding the Amy Dawes Ranch Cut book. And I'm like, I need to show you this line before you buy that book. And so I showed, and they're like,
Did you?
Okay. And they put it down. I'm like, try this book instead. Anyway, because, you know, ranch cups and baby foreskin just can't. But what is one of your favorite things about this community outside of finding those other romance readers? What do you love about this community that we built? Because 5 years and we've built I'm pretty proud of this community that we built.
Outside of the friends,
I would say, like, it kind of makes you feel normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you can bond over a kink that you have, but you didn't know anybody else had, and then you're like, Heather, what do you think about, you know, alien penises? And then you're like, yes, you know, or
I'm down for the
aliens.
I think that it's just, I think people maybe think it's weird that we talk about, like, they're not, like, characters aren't real or the books aren't real, but we, like, talk about them like they are. And, like, we understand how we become, like, not obsessed, but, like, we really enjoy, or, like, that we are prolific readers. And so we have, like, all these different recommendations. Oh, you like that book? Oh, you should try this. Like, you know, and we can, like, talk to everyone. I think that's probably what's right.
Yeah.
I think it also it translates into other things in our lives as well, because just being in this space and talking to other people just about things in your personal life, like, like my husband and I, we don't have a ton of friends that don't have kids.
Right.
We live in a state that does not align with any of our personal values. So I think it's nice that this community has like opened us up to, or me specifically anyway, into like having friends all over the country, all over the world, that just might have similar life experiences as me that I would probably never run across in the course of a day.
Yeah, I think for like Jenny and I, when you're a medical mom, it's really solitary. Like you just, and another person doesn't understand, like, they see you doing stuff with your kids, like, taking them to Cedar Point or something, and people will be like, but you were complaining of how expensive medical care is. We can't stop living because my kid has a lot of expensive medicines. And as a mom, like when you go to those mom groups, you get judged because, like, well, why are you wiping everything down with sanitary wipes? Or why don't you eat all organic? Well, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, I can't freaking afford it because it's either this 80 bottle of medicine for this week or it's organic green beans. And I think the medicine's going to keep him alive over some pesticides on his green beans. And I know for Jenny and I, that was so nice. Because you don't find that out of like the community sport groups, and some of those are wackadoodles.
Yeah.
I mean, as a mom, I've had a really hard time making mom friends. Especially like in the community we live in, it's similar. Like we don't have a lot of views that are, I don't know, the majority here, and so
But I like it too, because like for now, Mike and I are in a situation where our kids are grown, but we're not old. Like I'm not like my parents old. So, it's nice to have friends that are in that similar space of life. So if I said to Amanda, hey, what you and Jeremy want to go on a week vacation to the Caribbean? You don't have to be like, oh, we have to get someone for the kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're like, okay, we can maybe do it, but we can't talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm just saying we don't, it's sometimes it's hard to find those kinds of friends in the same space of life that you're in. Because
But it's also like, I would say like a hobby. Does that make sense too? Like before, like my kids were a little older when I started this, but like when my kids were little, like you're in it, like you're just mom, like, right? Like you're in survival mode, you're like doing all this. And so then as my kids got older and they needed me less, like it was like, I need to like fill my time. And so now like, this is like what I do and it makes me happy.
You're more than Heather, Liam's mom. Yeah, you are Heather, Minnesota hockey mom.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like I have, like, it's a hobby. I don't know. Like, and people will ask my husband all the time. They're like, what? And he's like, listen, it makes her happy in every, like when she is happy and she gets to do all the things she likes to do, everyone else in our whole house is really happy.
That was something that was very eye-opening when we started this. Some of the people that would join early on, we would hear often like, I got to check with my husband. I'm not sure if my husband's okay. And I was like, wait, there are people out there that have to ask their husband's permission for shit? Because Mike, if I said, now, I did ask his permission to start the podcast, but that's because I didn't have the knowledge and I needed help. Yeah. But could you imagine, like, if I asked him, like, I actually just told him last week we're going to the TNT signing at the end of March in Raleigh, North Carolina, because the agency business is sponsoring the event and they're like, we'd like you guys to come. And so I said to Mike, I said, hey, we're going to Raleigh, North Carolina next end of March. And he's like, okay. Like, if we're going, we're going. And, not like, but I didn't ask. I told.
It's so weird to me. I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, there's respect. Like, I know that Jenny has to say to Jeremy, hey, can you take the kids for this amount of time? But it's not asking permission. It's just passing off the parenting.
It is. Because, I mean, there more than once, Becky has texted me and been like, hey, you want to go to this? And I buy the ticket before, like, Jeremy's at work and he doesn't even know.
Yeah. He might get a 30-day notice.
Yeah, maybe.
Could you ask for this off? I know you're not going to, but could you maybe try?
Yep. That's exactly how it goes.
The other thing that I feel like is something that we've done exceptionally well, and I'm really proud of, is our space is safe.
Yes.
I don't feel like you get that. I feel like we're a judgment-free zone. We are what Planet Fitness wants to be. We are your favorite treadmill or elliptical. Like, you can come and say what you want, even if we kind of all disagree with it, and we might challenge you. I mean, I sometimes think Jenny does it just to be obtuse.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'm going to fight you on this just because it might be fun for me for a couple hours.
I definitely do.
But, like, you can come with your questions. And no one's going to be like, why are you asking a stupid question? And sometimes in groups of women, you don't always have that, right? Like, you don't always have that judgment-free zone. You know, we can laugh about my obsession with a door shifter romance. And you guys might be like, okay. And you can judge silently, but no one makes me feel ashamed for reading it about a screwdriver.
No. That's your jam. That doesn't mean, like, it's mine, right? Like, historical romance is you and Amanda's jam. That isn't, like, mine, right? But, like, I still think it's great that like, makes you guys happy, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
But I think that's something I'm really proud of, because you don't always get that in a group of women. Like, someone was saying, like, 100%. How's your Discord? You know, like, are you having issues with people infighting? And I'm like, no. I mean, we've had some things happen and we've had to, like, kind of dial some things back, but we've never.
No one few and far between
fights.
No.
But if we do fight, we need video and, like, the Mortal Kombat. Ready. I don't know, or Street Fighter, the Street Fighter music.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then Leah and I are always like, just fill us in later, because
just let me know. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question before we go on to whatever. What is one book that you think is overhyped that I made you read? Or, in general, an overhyped book that you were like, why the heck did I read this?
That you made me read that maybe not you read?
Yeah. Yeah.
Icebreaker.
It doesn't have to be one I read. It can be just, what book do you think is stupidly overhyped?
I mean, I read that book, like, when it was still indie.
Yeah.
And because we were going to do a quick shot on it, and I got, like, halfway through, and I was like, I think I texted you, and I was like, don't read this book.
It's not for you.
I'm going to finish it, but do not read this book. And
yeah. Do you have an overhyped book, Amanda, that you've had to read?
You haven't, like, no, I don't think you've made me read anything. I mean, and I volunteered to read Shield of Sparrows, so it's not like anybody made me do it. I mean, that's really the only one that or the Megan Quinn one that I DNF'd, but that's about it.
I'm still really mad about the Megan Quinn book right now.
I couldn't do it.
Really still mad about it, but whatever.
I couldn't even, like, skim it. I was like, I'm just done. Like,
I think that Megan Quinn book is definitely way overhyped, and then there's, like, a whole series that, like, is a spin-off of it, and I'm like, hard pass. I'm not doing that.
I'm still mad that the, like, person on the cover, like, I was halfway-ish, because I started skimming through the book when I'm like, wait, this is not her on the cover. Like,
yeah,
the, like, main character had blonde hair, and yeah.
Weird.
I mean, I talk about them all the time, but I would say probably Amy Dawes and Megan Quinn. I think their books are overhyped. I didn't love The Harris Brothers by Megan Quinn. We did that 9-month contract, and I DNF'd it. by Amy Dawes. And Megan Quinn's book, I want to like them, right? Like, those covers are cute. I want to feel compelled to buy them, but they never stand up. Ever.
Yeah. I mean, I think those are two that just are not for us.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm glad that other people love them and it makes them happy, but they're not for us.
So I have to laugh today, Amanda, because we have an upcoming episode on Marriage of Convenience. And I was looking for titles to download, and I was like, so there's a couple, and they're really super popular books that have gotten picked up. And I started to channel my inner Amanda, where I'm like, I don't want to read that. It's too popular. I don't want to read that.
I so do that.
And I was like,
help it.
What is wrong with me? Anyway.
It's because TikTok lies. Like, Bookstagram people lie.
They lie. But not us. We don't lie.
No. No.
And I know I only really talk about books that I like, right? Like whatever. There's too much negativity in my everyday life and job. I don't want to be negative, right? But I almost don't trust people. Like, there's so few people that I'm like, okay, you say that book's good, I bet it is. It's
really the dedicated listeners to the podcast. Like, Bonnie told me not to read a book. I tried to read it anyway, and then she was like, and then I DNF'd it, and she's like, I told you. And I'm like, I know. That's that oppositional defiance disorder happening over there. But outside of like dedicated listeners and this like our podcast group, I don't take anyone's rec. And I would even say Lindsay's to the point that if one of us haven't read it, unless we're asking her to take one for the team, she is not reading it. She will call bullshit on every book. She asked me about a book
series the other day, and I was like, I think it's going to make you mad. Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
She's like, should I just get rid of them?
I was like, yep.
That was the book series.
Yeah,
resell those bitches.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, they're gonna make you mad. Like, I like the books, but like knowing where Lindsay's at and how this series goes, I'm like, it's gonna make you mad.
Yeah, she's already really angry at Fourth Wing and Rebecca Yarros. So
she's really on the struggle bus. So it's carrying over.
Yeah,
poor girl.
Does anyone want to say, like, so far what their top read of the year is? So far, I think some of us have said. I don't remember, but I know that I said one. Maybe in our 5-year. But does anyone have, like, an outstanding read that they've read this year that they're like, why are more people not reading this? Or this was the best thing I've ever read?
I don't know. This is probably where I should maybe star my books when I finish them. But
maybe. For those watching and listening, Jenny, for the first time in, I don't know, 18 months, put a review up on the website. Yay!
Wow.
Cheer. Yeah. The crowd goes wild. Heather's over there. Heather, I do have an envelope with your name on it. I got to get a stamp. She's pulling out her reader cards, like...
Yeah, I fill out reader cards. I've asked Becky like 3 months in a row. I was like, hey,
there's an envelope. There's an envelope on my desk. I went to Costco. I had $100 gift card, you guys. I've had it the last 3 times I went to Costco. Do you think I used it?
You forgot it again.
The last 3 times that I went to Costco, I meant to buy stamps because they're a little cheaper there. Guess what did not get used and what did not get bought?
It's fine. I actually just made them because I was like, I
cannot wait.
They're just not as long. So I write down my books and then I do the star
Maybe you should try
rating.
that, Jenny.
Yeah.
But I also was doing like a bracket or whatever. But, you know, when my kid got super sick, my life just went sideways.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
So do you have a top read so far?
Me?
Yeah. No. Liam. Does Liam have a top read yet this year?
Maybe he probably does.
That Martog series.
Oh yeah, the Aragon series.
The Aragon series is really good. And the Ranger's Apprentice. We're really into Ranger's Apprentice series. I keep trying to tell him to put some books on my Instagram and he's like not for it.
So.
He's boring.
Does anybody have a book they want to share? If not, we're going to go on to our book of the week.
I mean, you left it forever. I mean,
yeah, I still need to read that.
I think that's going to be another probably podcast favorite this year.
Probably, but I'm telling you, Spark by Lauren Rowe, it was pretty stinking good. I really liked it.
I've got
Jenny did not like it apparently.
Oh no!
She's like, oh, did you?
I liked it. That's my book of the week.
Oh, sorry.
Demi said that she just wrapped up an arc for Julia Wolf, like her series that's coming out.
Her Small Town.
And she said that this one she read, she goes, I am so in love with this couple. She goes, he's on the spectrum and it's
fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, she said it's so good. So
Jenny, do you have a top read of the year so far?
No, I'm trying to look through my books and nothing's
popping.
Standing out.
So didn't you have a Kelly Fox that was a favorite?
Firefly or something? Or no, that was Emmy Davis
because I read a lot of Kelly Fox books. Probably The Lost Boys though are still my favorite series from her, and those wrapped up last year.
Okay. I have a bunch, but it's too long of a list. I
cover those at the end of the year.
It's on my Instagram if you want to see.
We'll do that at the end of the year. Okay.
Oh, I did really like Whirlwind by Kayla Gross.
Oh yeah.
So yes.
The Storm Chaser.
Yeah.
Okay, so guess what time it is? It's that time.
That time.
For book of the week.
You gotta do
book
the
jazz week. Book of the week time. Heather, what's your book of the week?
So I have 5 arcs that landed on my Kindle this week. So I am reading Befriending the Bear by Nora Phoenix. It comes out on August 8th, and it is part of her Forestville Silver Fox series. And so it's a small town, and it is older male main characters. It's an MM series, and it's a firefighter who was injured, and then a widower who has a speech impediment, and they're in this small town, and it's just so cute. I love it so much.
Okay. Jenny, what's your book of the week?
Spark by Lauren Rowe. It's Kendrick and oh my goodness, I just forgot her name. Ruby, yes, Ruby, the gem. And they are bandmates. He has a crush on her. But his brother makes him promise that they're not going to have any relationships within the band, and then we jump 15 years?
15 years forward.
Yeah. And they finally figure out some stuff, and his brother is a real asshole, but
he's gonna be the C-bomb, I think, of this series.
Oh my gosh, not only did he do the we can't date within the band, but he threw some other wrenches in there.
I will say the bandmate Titus is totally gonna be Fish.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that Titus is her brother.
Yeah, but he is going to be he will be swoony. And Reed Rivers is so Reed Rivers in that book that right? I'm like, douchebag. Anyway, I love him.
Yes. Yeah, they're definitely Reed Rivers moments.
Anyway, if you like Rockstar, if you like Lauren Rowe, read Spark. It was so good. And I don't like full cast narration, but I had an ALC of that, and it was really incredibly well done.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they did full cast on that one.
Yeah, it was really well done. Amanda, what is your book of the week?
So my book of the week is Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kimmerer. It is a fantasy book. Becky asked me if we got pitched this book by the publisher, and she's like, oh, it's fantasy. I was like, okay. So I'll take it. And it releases on August 12th. But I didn't even read the blurb to start with until it got closer to time to read it. And then I saw someone talking about it, and I thought that it was just Warrior Princess Assassin was talking about the heroine. But no, there's 3 people in this book.
It's a throuple.
Which I had no idea until right before I read it. But it really works. Sometimes that dynamic doesn't work for me because I will tend to have a favorite. It works really, really well in this book. So the warrior is Kai. He's also a king of another kingdom. the princess is Jory, and then the assassin is her friend Asher. They've been, they were friends growing up, and then he had to leave under bad circumstances, and he's an assassin now. So they've always kind of like loved each other. She is betrothed to Kai, and like the tension and the attraction between all three of these people, like I was just like,
yeah,
insanely blown away about how well it worked. There's a ton of there's magic, political intrigue. It's book one in a trilogy, and so it kind of it leaves you a little bit hanging, but not completely like a brutal cliffhanger. So I'm desperate for book two, and I don't know, I was really surprised by how much I liked this book, just because I'd also kind of been in a little bit of a reading funk, and I was just trying to power through some arcs, and I just started reading this, and I was like, whoa, the slowest of slow burns, but so much tension. You're just can something happen? Please, something happen. The longing looks.
Someone touch a naughty bit already.
I was like, oh my gosh, but it was so good. But the action kept me not getting, so then I wasn't upset that we weren't getting physical time. But I mean, it's really good. If you like fantasy, I know I don't describe things the best, so my review is up on the blog. If I write it down better than I say it, so
that's fair.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier we have an upcoming episode where we're going to talk about marriage of convenience, not arranged marriage of convenience. And so I've been doing some digging on titles, and I checked out The Faking Game by Olivia Haley, and I'm obsessed. It's brother's best friend. It is billionaire. She has a stalker. She's a model, but she doesn't want to be a model anymore. She's a people pleaser, and he is helping her learn to say no. But also the tension, the yearning, the desire,
the cover is awesome too.
Yeah, and her brother's book is the next book. I have 15% left, and let me just tell you, I need to finish this tonight. There will not be putting this down. I am invested in West, and oh crap, what is her name? I got Ruby, and now I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I was like, I can't help you.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you like fake relationship, if you like marriage of convenience, you're going to want to read this book, because it is fantastic. Nora, I think Eleonora, she is French. She goes by Nora. So, and he has a sister. She is sassy, and I'm hoping the series is going to be of these four best friends that met in boarding school that are all from wealthy families. One owns a whiskey distillery in Scotland. One owns a Scotch distillery in Scotland. There's West that owns corporate holdings. He's supposed to be kind of like a Vanderbilt. And then her family, they own a lot of luxury brands. And then I'm not sure about the other hero yet, what his claim to fame is. So anyway, highly recommend it. It's really good. Patreon update. Quick shout out to our amazing Patreon community. Your support keeps the podcast running and lets us bring you even more bonus content, reader's guides, and exclusive Discord chats. If you're not a member, we have just one tier now, and that gives you access to such events as Book Club and Silent Book Club. Heather and I recorded a quick shot this last week. I'm hoping to record some more. So maybe Jenny and I will do Spark or something, but we're going to start getting back into the habit of getting those up there at least a couple times a month. But we'd love to have you as part of our Bookish crew. For a list of books we talked about on this episode, check out our show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com. That's it for this episode of Buzzing About Romance. Thank you for hanging out with us. For this more casual behind-the-scenes chat, this is the kind of chaos that is really just anytime we all chat or talk. You had a peek into kind of what our... the chaos that is our group chat. Don't forget to share what you're currently reading, either over on Discord or tag us in your recs. If you have a marriage of convenience rec, make sure you slide into my DMs and let me know so I can add it to my TBR. Anyway, share the podcast episode with your friends. Leave us a review. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and joining us for this episode of Buzzing About Romance.
Bye.
Until next time, everybody, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.